Hi, my name's Lucy Sutherland and today I'll be running a new look colour scheming workshop. What we're going to do today is go through a workshop that will help you to understand colour and also help you understand how to put colour schemes together. We'll work with all the common techniques that we use for colour scheming, such as the colour wheel, learning how to use whites, the colour tools that you've got available to you, and also things like understanding what your core colours are and how to put together mood boards. Hopefully by the end of this workshop you will be able to help both yourself and your customers understand the best colour schemes for them and some really good practical tools to take away. I hope you enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and at the end of this you'll walk away with a mood board and some great practical tools. Colour is all about personal choice. You need to really understand what colours you like and what styles you like. And everybody's unique, everyone's different, they like different things. You'll see slides coming up on the screen of different room types, and I'm sure that you'll identify with at least one or two of these different room types. If we were in a crowd, you'd notice that a whole lot of people would like each different room. So whether it's a stark minimalist white room to a very ornate red oriental room, we all like different things. So when you're working with customers and you're wanting to put colour schemes together and help them with colour, you've got to understand that they might like something completely different from you. So the most important thing to do is to understand your customers' likes and needs. You need to understand how your customers live. Do they live in a formal setting or do they live in a more low-key home? That's going to be very important to the types of colours and finishes that you choose in their home. Not only do you need to know what colours they like and what styles they like, but you also need to know what they don't like. That really helps when you're putting together colour schemes to know what colours to steer clear of. Another thing to consider when you're helping your customers with colour is that they may well have furniture, fabric or artwork in their homes that they want to keep, and these are great for putting schemes together with. So always ask them if they do have something that they want to keep and incorporate into their scheme, and maybe get them to bring a photograph or a sample along with them. So the first thing to understand with your customers is how they want to live. Ask them some key questions which you'll see up on the screen now. Do they entertain a lot? What colours do they like? What rooms do they live in most of the time, and do they have kids that are going to be running around undoing all the nice elegant colour schemes they're putting together? So really important that you get some kind of understanding on how they want to live. We're going to go through a couple of different techniques that will really help you understand your consumer's personal style. It's really important to understand what they like, what colours they like, what textures they like, what furniture they like, as a starting point for working on their colour scheme. And one of the best ways of doing this is what I just call the simple information gathering technique. So all you need to do is get a folder for each room of the house, so a bedroom folder, a kitchen folder, one for your dining room, and also a folder for things that you don't like. And what you need to do is just go through magazines and clip any images that really appeal to you. So if it's a colour that you like or furniture or anything like that, clip them out and put them in the relevant folder. Now you can do this over days or hours, it doesn't matter, but just gather as much information as you can without really thinking about it. And when you're ready to decorate and ready to choose your paint colour, take those folders out and look at them, and you'll definitely get an idea of what your personal style is. It's really good to give that advice to consumers so that they can bring that information in with them to the stores as a great starting point. So I've got Krista here from Group Office, and what we're going to do is look at the information gathering technique, and Krista is going to help me understand what my personal style is. So you will hopefully have got your consumers to bring in examples from magazines of what they like, and here's a really good example of how you can then take that information and work through their personal likes. So I've got one for a bedroom and I've got one for a lounge and living room. So what we're going to do is we'll just take them out of the folders and just spread them around, and hopefully you'll get a really good sense of what my personal style is. So Krista, looking at those, tell me what you think.
I think throughout all of these pictures, you do tend to go for a neutral colour palette on your walls, but then you've got sort of warmer tones accented through your furniture and your bedspreads and cushions. Yes, the reds and pinks, a bit of orange, I think I saw somewhere. And then your more natural colours in your bedroom, so you've got your greens and your charcoaly blues. But also there's a bit of timber, common thread through all of the photos. You like natural timber?
Yeah, so that's great. So now we've got an understanding of the types of things that I like and the types of textures and where I like to put the wall colour. So what we're going to do now is start working with this information and to develop a mood board. So we're going to do this for you now, so we don't need to worry about what I like, but it's just to really show you how you can use this information. So a customer brings this in, you would take out of this that there's light wall colours, a lot of texture, lots of natural wood, but bold accents of pink, raspberries and oranges, and that's a really good starting point to work with. So Krista has gone to the colour selector and chosen her core colour. So this is the colour that Krista wants to be around all of the time. So she wants to surround herself with it, so it's the main colour that she'll have in her colour scheme. So Krista, what colour have you chosen?
I've chosen New Look Loft.
And what words would you use to describe New Look Loft?
I think cool, neutral, relaxed.
So why did you choose Loft?
I think it will be easy to work with and good to match in with brighter accent colours.
Great. So that is going to form the core of our mood board. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to the colour selector and we're going to first choose a reject colour and then we're going to choose a demand colour, and you'll learn how to create the mood board based on those. So Krista's just been to the colour selector and she's chosen her reject colour. So the reject colour is the colour that you really don't like and you don't want anywhere in your house, and it's really important to know what your reject colours are and to work with your consumers so you know what they don't want in your house, in their house, so that you can make sure the scheme works for them. So Krista, tell us about this colour.
I've chosen a pastel pink called Cartier.
And why did you choose it?
Not bright enough for me, it's too weak and it's too girly.
Okay. It's interesting when we run this workshop, quite often some people's reject colours are other people's core colours, so it's really interesting to see how different people react to colours. Okay, so we've got those two. Now what we're going to do is go and get your demand colour.
Right.
So Krista's just gone to the colour selector and she's chosen her demand colour. So the demand colour is the colour that you want to use as an accent. So you want to bring it in small pieces. So what have you chosen there, Krista?
I've chosen New Look Molten.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to just put Molten to the side, and as we develop our mood board, you'll see that we'll start to work with magazine images and we'll pull out images that have got the demand colour and the core colour, and you'll see how it all comes together in a minute. So let's really get this mood board going now. So what we need to do is develop your core palette. So we've got Loft, which we call your core colour. So what Krista's done is she's gone to the colour selector and she's chosen two colours that are slightly lighter than Loft. And then she's chosen two colours that are darker than Loft. So she's got a really nice palette there. What I've asked Krista to do from there is to choose two off-whites that are going to work with this colour scheme, and also two neutrals. So this now forms Krista's core palette. So it's basically the board that Krista will take with her when she's starting to work with fabrics, flooring and everything like that to put her room together. So when you're working with your customers, it's really great to get them to choose their core colour and actually develop this palette out with them, because that then becomes their decorating Bible for doing the rest of their house. So developing mood boards, this is the fun part. So what you need to do is you look at your core palette and the colours that you've got in your core palette, and also your demand colour, so that's your accent colour. And then grab as many magazines as you can and start flicking through the magazines and trying to find colours that incorporate your core palette as well as your accent color. And you'll find it's actually surprisingly easy to do. So whether it's a piece of fabric, it's a room shot, or a piece of clothing, or even some food, just cut them out and start sticking them on your board and developing your mood board. And suddenly you'll see that your whole mood board starts to tie in, and you get a really good sense of what your color scheme is going to look like. So Krista's gone through all the magazines, and she has found some images that work with her core palette as well as her accent color, and she's cut them out and laid them up on the mood board. So looking at the mood board here, you can see that she's incorporated all these lovely neutrals based on Loft, which was her core color, and also on the colors surrounding it, so the two deeper ones and the two lighter ones. But she's also used her accents to come in accessories like bedding and rugs. So Krista, what do you think about this board? Does this represent what you like?
Absolutely. I love all of the warm sort of orange and reds all through it, with the cushions and the bedspread. Whatever this plate of food was looked tasty, and the pendant lamps. But also, it's not too heavy. You know, there's not too much of these two darker colours. Yep. They're just accents. Yeah.
Now, if you took that into a fabric store, or even when you're finishing up getting your paint colours, is that going to be helpful for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think I've got more of an idea of which colours I'm going to choose.
Magazines are a really good source of inspiration. So I really encourage you to encourage your consumers to use magazines to find these images, because it all ties in together. I think you found that once you found the images and put them onto your board, it all comes together and works really well. Mm. The colour wheel is a fantastic tool just to help you with colour theory. You can get them from any art supplies shop. They're really good for helping to understand colour schemes, and also for using them with your customers. The colour wheel doesn't get it wrong. So there's instructions on the colour wheel, but what I'm going to do is just go through a few of the really basic schemes that you can get out of using a colour wheel. So the first one we're going to talk about is monochromatic. A monochromatic colour scheme is a colour scheme that basically goes from dark to light of the same colour. So for example, the yellow oranges or the yellow greens. So it's taking 2 or 3 colours and grading the colours down from dark to light. Monochromatic colour schemes are easy to use. They're very sophisticated and elegant, mostly used with neutrals. And what you can do just to make it more interesting is add some texture. So you can add some textured paint or fabrics or silky throws or things like that, even flowers, just to add a little bit of texture and interest to the monochromatic colour scheme. So that's the most basic one. A few other ones are complementary. Complementary is just simply taking opposite colours on the colour wheel. So like blue and yellow orange. So it's just taking those two opposite colours, not using them at the same intensity, so using one as a dark colour and one as a light colour, and again you can use one of those colours in your accessories. So complementary, an idea of a complementary colour scheme would be something like this, where you've got 2 of the blue colour and then 1 of the opposite colour in the yellow. So a really nice, simple way to use it. Now, getting a little bit technical here, you can do a split complementary. And that's basically if you draw a triangle. So you take one colour, say red-orange, and then you take the 2 colours on the opposite side of that. So you're drawing a triangle, and your colour wheel will show you how to do this. Split complementaries are really good colour schemes to use when you're wanting to introduce accessories into your scheme. So here's an example of a split complementary where we've got some lovely greens, but then we've got that shot of pink there. So really good. Now the last one I want to talk about